You're walking in a supermarket and you see this can for the first time. What would you assume this is? Beer? Energy drink? Surprisingly, it's just water. This is Liquid Death, one of the fastest growing beverage companies on the market. And today, we're going to talk about how a graphic designer made drinking water cool again. Mike Cessario was a graphic design and advertising graduate from the Art University of Pasadena. As a teen, Mike played guitar in punk bands and had several offers from recording labels. But Mike preferred designing posters and flyers for the band, which is why he pursued graphic design. As a kid, he loved reading Mad magazines because of the humor, which inspired him to pursue a career in advertising. He didn't know it at the time, but those skills would help him craft a billion-dollar brand. In 2009, Mike attended a Vans Warped Tour. Enjoying his time backstage, he noticed something strange. Bands were drinking water disguised as Monster Energy because Monster was sponsoring the event. At that moment, he asked himself, why aren't there more healthy products with cool and funny branding? He realized that most products with that kind of branding were junk food brands. A seed was planted that day, but just like with every seed, it needed time to grow and mature. Mike decided to focus on his advertising career and became a very successful advertiser, working with multiple firms across the country. Years had gone by, and Mike decided to start his own brand of craft brandy, which never took off. But this did not bother him because his seed for a healthy product with funny branding had started to sprout. His idea was canned water, but the problem was the bottled water market was oversaturated, so it would be very tough for him to get investors to take him seriously. So Mike made a bold move. He decided to make an ad about a product that didn't even exist. He made a 3D rendered can and invested a few $1,000s in producing the ad and promoting the video. The ad got 3 million views and gained 80,000 followers on Facebook in 3 months, which was more than Aquafina at the time. But what stood out most were the comments. With all the data and attention gathered, he started looking for investors. He managed to raise $100,000 in funding. He was able to find an Austrian water supplier. Liquid Death started selling canned water online and sold out in the first month, making $100,000 in sales while only spending $2,000 on marketing. And just like that, his idea and his skills in graphic design and advertising created the holy trinity for a canned water company. In 2019, Liquid Death stated that their plan was to expand in tattoo parlors and barbershops. They wanted the product to appeal to straight edge, punk, and heavy metal fans. After raising $1.6 million in seed funding, they decided to pivot from their exclusive straight edge lifestyle play when Whole Foods Market offered national distribution. In February, later that month, they received an additional $9 million in Series A funding. According to Eater.com, they became the fastest selling water brand on Whole Foods shelves. Later that year, they also expanded into 200 7-Eleven stores and received a $23 million Series B fund. The next year, they received another $15 million in Series C funding. In December 2021, they started selling in Publix and Sprouts stores. The company's revenue rose to $45 million in 2021. The company raised another $75 million in Series C funding in 2022. In March of 2024, Liquid Death raised another $67 million in funding. Death did something impressive. Yes, they managed to get millions in funding, but the most impressive thing they did was that they made drinking water cool again. They did that in multiple ways. First, they sold water like alcohol. Liquid Death has a beer can design, which is good for straight edge fans, concert goers, and non-alcoholics who go clubbing with their friends. They also capitalized on the sober boom amongst Gen Z. They managed to blend into places where holding a bottle of Aquafina feels weird. Second is their death to plastic angle. Plastic production contributes to greenhouse gas emissions and intensifies climate change. Aluminium cans are highly recyclable. Although they also might have their own environmental issues, they also attract other eco-conscious buyers. Third is their engaging marketing and edgy branding. Liquid Death have millions of followers on social media. Part of Liquid Death's advertising efforts is centered around entertaining its customers. They post mock adverts on TikTok and Instagram, and mockumentary-style videos on YouTube. One of their weirdest marketing campaigns involved a partnership with Tony Hawk to sell several limited edition skateboards containing Hawk's blood. They also managed to capitalize on hate by creating their Greatest Hates album. The name Liquid Death can be seen as a strange name for a drink that's supposed to be healthier than the energy drink alternatives, but that's the point. Their taglines, murder your thirst and don't be scared, it's just water, further strengthens the point. They want to be the brand that makes a totally harmless product that looks like it could punch you in the face. And the last one that ties all this together, authenticity. Liquid Death is not a good product. It's a great product. It doesn't win by playing the game. It wins by creating a game that focuses on its strengths and ignores its weaknesses. It takes something out of the Coca-Cola handbook. Back in the day, Pepsi ran a blind taste test on Pepsi versus Coca-Cola and found out that most people found Pepsi to be better than Coke. Coca-Cola heard this and ran their own test and found out the exact same thing. So they did what any company would do. They changed their formula. But people weren't too happy about this. They then went back to the old formula. They realized that no one was buying their drink because of the taste, but rather because of the feeling. Coke did not sell a drink. They sold happiness. And that's the same thing with Liquid Death. No one is buying Liquid Death because it tastes good. Because at the end of the day, water is water. But because they sell a feeling. When people hold that can, it makes them feel like a badass. When they see that can could be seen as a lot of things. Funny, cool, creative. It feels like they're a humor and entertainment brand that just happens to sell water. Liquid Death is murdering the game. In 2024, they raked in more than $300 million in revenue. Liquid Death products are available in over 130,000 stores worldwide. Over 16% of Americans have tried Liquid Death beverages. They have sold millions of cans worldwide. They claim 1% of the sparkling water market and 0.2% of the still water market, which is a lot in the highly competitive market of bottled water. They have over 300 employees. They've had a total funding of $264 million, and the company is valued at $1.4 billion. They also sell iced tea, juice spiked teas, and flavored carbonated beverages like mango, lemon, sweet lime, convicted melon, and buried alive. But what's next? Liquid Death have a product. They have consumers. They have money. But what's their end game? Will they get acquired by the Coca-Cola and the Pepsis of the world? Will they go public and sell their stocks on the stock market? Will they continue to grow, or will hype fade away? Remember, almost 99% of unicorn startups struggle to adapt to market changes, sustain growth, or generate consistent revenue. Will they establish themselves as the undisputed kings of canned water, or will other bottled water brands create their own canned water products? The answer is, well, in terms of an exit, there are many possible scenarios. It's anything goes. It has been rumored that Liquid Death hired Goldman Sachs as the lead underwriter, aiming for a 2024 IPO. Although the time has passed, there could be various factors halting it, but it could happen soon. In the acquisition department, it's a little bit tricky. Pepsi and Coca-Cola usually acquire emerging brands, but Liquid Death's death to plastic agenda might not align with their values, or they may get acquired by brands that share the same values, or they might follow the rebel path and remain private. In terms of hype and long-term sustainability, they might have a strong case, with Gen Z adults making 42% of their consumer base and younger millennials making 38%. And who knows, they might get Gen Alpha on the wave too, and they're riding on this sober boom. Do you know Poke, the Snapchat killer? Exactly. Even if other bottled water companies launch their own canned product, it could bring more attention and visibility to Liquid Death because of something called first mover advantage. If other companies try to create a funny brand just like Liquid Death, they could be written off as a copycat. But only time will tell.